Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started here. Can you hear me? Huh? Okay. All right. Global equities came off yesterday, not too heavily, but reasonably. I think a little bit of it was sparked after the back of the after German manufacturing PMI missed expectations and fell below 50. To the euro region, to all the stocks that were trading in this time zone yesterday. We're down pretty reasonably on the back of that, close to 1%. Nothing too big. Obviously, the Cyprus situation continues to weigh on markets. The banks there have limited ATM withdrawals at 260 euros, and just a lot of worries over that. I mean, you can see that it's not exactly making the market fall apart, but I think it's making people nervous nonetheless. So something to keep an eye on. In Asia, we had Japan that fell for the first time in forever. I mean, I think it's the first reasonable pullback in Japan that I can remember in probably 2 months. The central bank governor there stopped short of announcing new stimulus, so I think that's part of the reason. And on the back of that, you also saw the yen strengthen a little bit, so we finally saw a sell-off there. And Japan, you can see here to the right, pretty much every sector was lower on the day, besides electricity, power, and gas. In Cyprus, there's obviously still big issues like we just talked about a second ago. That's weighed heavily on the euro. The euro's kind of had its lowest close in several months, and I think it's going to be really important to watch what's going on there. I think at 10 o'clock this morning, we're going to see some announcement being made there as to what the further progress is going to be. So let's keep an eye on that early this morning. If we don't get a resolution soon, I think the markets may start to lose patience with this a little bit. A lot of stocks went ex-div today instead of on a Monday because of the holiday yesterday. So we've got Imperial, that's 3 Rand 80. We've got Liberty, that's what does that come to? 4 Rand 66. We've got Bidvest at 324. First Rand with 55 cents. MMI Holdings 51 cents. MTN, a big one, at 5 Rand 3 cents. And RMH at 66 cents. So watch those on the open today. There could be some plays around the open there with people forgetting the divs, and I think that the volumes may be a little bit light today on the back of yesterday being a holiday, first day of school holidays yesterday. So a lot of people probably are going to be away. A lot of people might not be paying attention. Focus might not be there. So watch those this morning. Could be some opportunities. All right. Data out today. We've got German PMI manufacturing. That was out yesterday. Jobless claims are out yesterday as well, at 336 versus 340, so slightly better. It's really important that the 4-week moving average on jobless claims has fallen by over 7,000, which is a huge move, actually in 4 weeks. So we got to realize that the numbers there continue to be better. Existing home sales missed slightly, but not a big deal. And then the Cyprus parliamentary vote on banking restructuring bill, that's what I was talking about at 10 today. Very, very big thing. I think it's going to be the thing we're going to want to watch for today. And then the German IFO Business Climate Index is out as well, expected at 107.8. If that's weak, you could also see a further downside there in Europe. So just keep an eye out for those at 10 and 11 today. All right, let's jump into the maps. All right. First thing we're going to want to look at here is we're just going to look at the Aussie. As we closed on Wednesday right at 36,000, which is really, let me just shorten this up a little bit here so you can see a little bit more closely. And you can see it's at 36,000. It's really been an inflection point for us. When the market gets above it, the market tried to break above it for a long time, beginning of the year, couldn't break through. Once we got through, we stayed above there on a closing basis for basically a full month. We broke below it. We stayed below there for a couple of weeks above it. I mean, it's not that we're just crossing, willy-nilly over this line. Once we move through it, it's been really staying above or below for a while. So this is really our key level at 36,000. We've opened up 150 points below that today. A lot of stocks going 2% ex-div, so that should also weigh on it a little bit. But just keep that in mind. We are below what I think is quite a key inflection point in terms of the Aussie right now. So watch that one closely. If we get back above it, it could be a turning point. All right, bulletins. I want to show bulletins just here. Nothing major in terms of technically, but we've basically broken to recent lows, going all the way back to December last year. And I think it's important just because obviously we're seeing a bit of a seed shift here. If we back it out a little bit on bulletins, you can see on the trend line here that support will probably come in closer to, if we run this off of a closing basis, closer to 268, somewhere along those lines. So we could have a little bit more downside in bulletins before I think it's even worth a nibble. So pay attention to that. Maybe actually worth some intraday shorts over the next couple of days. All the resources obviously been underperforming heavily. All right, we're going to look at Xaro here. We talked about this on Friday. Traded actually quite well on Friday, and then we had a lower close on Friday, but this is essentially kind of two consecutive sessions where we've closed below trendline support. Friday furthered that a little bit. We finally closed actually below 160. If it manages to stay below there in early action this morning, I personally am going to probably look short. It's been one of the outperformers lately, and it's kind of been slower to break down than others, but it's a key technical level. If we get below it here, I wouldn't be surprised to see us test the previous, the lows for the year, which are well below 150. All right, we're going to stay on the resource theme here. We'll have a look at gold fields. I wanted to show gold fields on a 30-day chart and just show the important levels here. I mean, you can really see that at $76, that's really the main level that we want to look at here. We came down, we tested 76 on the 21st of Feb, couldn't get below it. It took us about a whole nother week to get below it, and when we broke down, we haven't been able to regain it really on a closing basis, going all the way for the last month. I think today, obviously, we closed at 76 and a quarter, in the dollar price on yesterday's session in the States. So we're probably going to get up here and test this level. If we get up close above 76, I think we could finally see some upside in gold fields. And if we can look at it here as well in the dollar price, and you'll see that same sort of pattern. We've got a really key level here at about 80. I think it's at 80. It's at 8.24, which is just a touch, 3-4 cents below where we closed yesterday. So 8.24 is the level we're going to look for there as well. If we get above it, this is a real inflection point for these shares. I really think that we could start to see some upside here if we can get above these two levels in gold fields and the dollar price and in the rand price. All right, next one we're going to look at here is been one of the bigger movers recently. And that's Naspers. One of the reasons why I wanted to show this is because we were closed yesterday, but on Wednesday night's action, after we saw the earnings here, early Thursday morning in Hong Kong, we saw Tencent take a punishing. I think it was down around 4%. Then today we also saw it with a 2+% sell-off. So we've lost about 6% in Tencent since our close on Friday. So obviously we know, if we just can shorten this up a little bit, we can see here that 578 to 580, somewhere in that range, is really where support is on Tencent. If we break that, the one thing that I would look is maybe further support. Could be where we broke out here previously, all the way down to around 558. But bottom line is this 578 is where we're going to really want to focus on today. It's going to test it, maybe open there or lower without question on the open after what Tencent's done the last couple of days. So just watch this level closely. If we close above 578, I think it's a real victory for Naspers today. So this could be a big turning point in the stock. Like we said, we pulled back all the way from 645. This will be over a 10% pull, right at a 10% pullback if we manage to hold this level. So very, very crucial for the day today. All right, Amplats at $400. We obviously know how big the 400 rand level has been in Amplats. We've broken below it here. I don't see any reason why we can't potentially come down and test recent closing lows, which are around 365, I think, in Amplats. Watch this one closely. It's turned into a real dog lately. It's been hard to get a real bounce out of it. Apollo's has also been trading weak, but nothing like this one. And you can see that Lonman also, this head and shoulder pattern that we had been talking about, has finally broken down and really gotten into the full swing of the pattern. Unfortunately, we couldn't borrow any script here, so we didn't make any money off of this. But we've seen Lonman break down. It's further downside, probably down to $40. So watch out for these platinum shares. There could be more downside there. All right, True Earth. I wanted to show True Earth because you can see the big green reversal bar. We if you back it out a little bit, you can see how this 88 level is the level that we talked about. That's the major level. We really got down there and tested it on the wick the day before yesterday. But day before Wednesday. But on Wednesday we had a huge reversal bar, and I just want to shorten this up a little bit just to show you how important this is. I wanted to show you how important it was. You can see the green candle on volume bars yesterday on Friday. I know it's close out, but look, we've also had the reweightings for the FTSE and the SWIX and all these kind of things that were bringing big volumes. You can see it's actually, if you look down here, it's the biggest volume day going all the way back into August of last year. So it's really important, especially that we got this big reversal green candle on volume, on True Earth, on such big volume. So watch for that closely. We've also just kind of broken above, its recent trend line. So I think, maybe this is reminiscent of what Foschini did a week or two ago. Not quite as convincing, but convincing nonetheless. So watch True Earth. The next couple of days could have some more upside. All right, last couple of things I want to show are. I want to show Goldman out of the States for the guys that are punting internationally with us. We've broken down here in Goldman below $148, broken what I would consider major support. I would say to the very least we have a gap fill here to 140, about 141.50. If we get lower than that. The furthest downside I could see could be all the way down here, potentially to 130, which would be another gap fill to where we really broke out to major level here. So I think there's some significant downside left in Goldman. So if you want to look for a place short in the States, I think Goldman's not a bad idea in the near term. And then I'm going to show DGE on the LSE there. You can see here really definitive upward sloping trend line there. Going back to the beginning of the year, we've really tacked on nicely, and we've pulled back over the last couple of days, but right in line with trend line. Support here at $20. I think grabbing some around $20 really makes some sense if you get a chance to buy some DGE in London today. All right, and that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot.